This is the Entropy Corona Heritage Cabinet. And I'm super excited to be able to share this with you today, so I thought I would go ahead and do a little unboxing. It's one of the most unique pieces of packaging and process that I've really seen, and I've been in cigars quite a long time. We're gonna need a pair of scissors for this job. Any of you who follow what we do here at Domain Cigars know that it's pretty unusual that we do something that feels, dare I say, exclusive, or you know, limited is kind of a dirty word for us because we have a factory and everything like that. But let me get the cello off of this real quick. Sorry to any of the headphone listeners there. So, all right, so this is how it comes packaged. It comes with this beautiful material. Now, this material is actually a high vapor barrier material, but we're not using it for the vapor portion. We're using it for the thermal technique that this particular material gives us. Now, we started studying this material actually before we even came up with the concept for this cigar. This cigar originated really out of a necessity to consume some of our tobaccos that, you know, fit a smaller profile cigar in the Entropy collection. However, we didn't have something like Relevant, which we make in several other cigars that we already have on the market. So we kind of necessitated having another SKU, and we thought, well, it would be really cool to make some Coronas out of these and just try them out. And so I asked Esteban, I go, is it possible to make these into Coronas? Because the blend is quite complex, and it's a double Ajero cigar. And he goes, yeah, it absolutely is. We can definitely make that into Coronas. So I was out of the country at the time, and he went ahead and made some samples of it, and we were blown away just by how great the cigars turned out. And then we started really thinking, well, how do we bring these to market? And we didn't want to bring these to market in such a way where it was, you know, really difficult and challenging to find them anywhere. So we wanted to make sure that it was, you know, relatively easy to pinpoint where the cigars would be in the market. We didn't want them to have a crazy price tag. You're used to seeing things that are special having a real crazy price tag. Now, they could have a crazy price tag in the future if people hold on to these, and for some reason, if we just don't have the availability of tobacco to produce a great deal of them. But I don't really foresee that being the case here. This is a product that, for us, it's the first time we're making a product for our existing customers, meaning people that already like and enjoy what we do here with Domain Cigars. And this product is really designed and meant for them. It is a wet pack, and I'm going to explain what that means, but we'll go ahead and use the scissors. There's a tear tab here, so you can kind of yank it apart there, but I'm going to use the scissors, and I'll show you why here in a moment. So I'm just going to cut straight off the top here and unfold this, and now I have kind of the thermal blanket on the outside release. And then here we see that we have the Entropy styling. We can see here that this is the Corona Heritage Cabinet, Corona cabinets, and they are presented in 5x42 for Corona. And we're going to go ahead and slice this open. I like using a razor blade whenever I slice these open, but we can get it done with a pair of scissors. We'll be okay. Don't tell anybody. All right, so we're going to slide the top off, and this is really the moneymaker here too. So we have our typical box that you're used to seeing from Domain Cigars, really nice retail ready style box, and this is actually a 50 count. So what's going on here in the inside is we're doing something called wet packing the cigars. And this was kind of a way that was used a long time ago. You know, over a century they've been doing cigars like this, where they would wrap them in paper and then later paper and foil. And this was designed because cigars that were coming out of Central America and the Caribbean, they would need those cigars to arrive at their markets in the United States generally, or Europe, and they would want to preserve them, and they noticed that sometimes they would get, you know, too dry, or what we say in Spanish, seco, you know, way too dry. So what they decided to do was to start packing them wet intentionally. Now, we don't actually do that today, packaging them wet. What we do instead is we're actually sorting the cigars, which is really unique, early while they're still going through the aging process, and then we allow them to age together. And so they age together as a will of cigars, a 50 count will. And in doing so, you get a really unique experience. Now, you don't have to age these any longer. They're ready to smoke. They're ready to be consumed. We can go ahead and pop these out here. We can see that we have the bridge, which we're well known for, which can go here at the foot of the package. We can pop that guy right in there. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and pop these out. Now, the thermal blanket has a kind of a pull tab, and if you look real close, you can actually see that we have our embossing of Domain into the thermal blanket, which I thought was really special because that technology didn't actually exist. We had to work with a company to develop that technology. So here we can see that the 50 count in the box, it's wrapped in a newspaper, which again slows down the transfer of humidity. The foil, the vapor barrier material here, does vapor and thermal, so both moisture and heat, and that's designed to slow down or help ride different thermal conditions in the box. Of course, we do include Boveda in each box because the cigars are aged in full at the factory, ready to smoke. However, this is kind of a fun concept where you can buy this bundle of cigars and you can set them back into the humidor and age them for a good number of years, and then break them out and enjoy them later with friends. What we're going to do is just go ahead and slide off the initial packaging here, and we can see that the inside pack reveals the center. So what we'll do is just break off the half. This is the head up here, so I'm going to break off the foot. And if you've never got to do this, this is one of the simple pleasures in life. It's absolutely delicious. The only way that it was possible to make these cigars today, especially given how expensive of a commodity broadleaf is, U.S. grown, true U.S. grown broadleaf. This particular broadleaf is from Dunn and Foster Farms, one of the best growers in the Connecticut River Valley. One of the only ways that this is possible is because we make so many cigars with Entropy, and we also make so many cigars with Neutron and Entropy, and it shares some of the same tobaccos. So whenever we get extra small tobaccos, we actually make that cigar using those extra small or small tobaccos. So it has an incredible intensity to these cigars. Use the small foil, come on. I mean, just... There we go. Not the outside foil, the inside foil. Remember that. So, all right, so we'll just get these guys sorted, get them jumbled up here. And again, that paper is there to slow down the transfer of humidity, but because this could age for 10 plus years, the idea is that paper will actually help stabilize the transfer of humidity to the cigars, and that the foil here will help us greatly with thermal conditions on the cigars, very similar to how those original wet packs were used. So there we are. That is an introduction, a little bit of a fumble on my part. Make sure you use the inside foil to do that. Anyway, Corona Cabinets by Domain Cigars, Entropy Corona Cabinets. Go get them today at any of your flagship retailers. Going to be a heck of an experience. It's, for me, I'm not generally a Corona smoker, and this one has just absolutely lit a fire under me on Corona. So I really look forward to getting your feedback. Thanks so much for watching.